Hi, it's Bruce Wayne McClellan here. I'm getting ready to do my talk, which is called Adapting to a World in Change, a Leader's Manual for Uncertainty. That's coming up in about 5 minutes. I'm just getting out here and getting settled in, and we're going to be broadcasting. We're actually broadcasting live on Facebook, on numerous channels on Facebook, as well as a recording on LinkedIn and live on YouTube. So we're simulcasting today all over the place. When you join, if you would be so kind as to let us know what your geographical location is, that would be wonderful. Looking forward to getting started in just about 4 minutes now. So let's get settled in and get comfortable and ready for this short presentation. While we're waiting for folks to show up and for the clock to tick around, I wanted to say a big thank you out to the team at MCC Corporate College. You guys are awesome. You're doing great work in the Rochester area, helping to develop the businesses and the community to transform Rochester into an even more amazing city than it already is. So thank you for that, James Gertner, and all of your friends out there, and Carly's out there, I know. Thank you so much. So if you're just joining, please make a comment. I'd like to know where you're dialing in from geographically. I have anticipated people from all over the planet here, so I'd love to know where you specifically are sitting. And we'll be getting started in just about 3 minutes, less than 3 minutes now. Again, this is a short talk that I'll be doing. I promise it won't be very long. I don't want to waste your time. I appreciate your time very much. But this is called the Adapting for a World in Change, a Leader's Manual for Uncertainty. And that is sponsored here by MCC Corporate College, who is connecting all of us instructors together, all of us leadership coaches and all types of folks out there to help you. So I see that we are all set and live on the MCC page, so we're going to get started right away here. So, welcome. Thanks for being with us today. I appreciate you. Welcome to the MCC College Connections. Corporate College offers these sessions, fulfilling its charge to inspire diverse students to transform their lives and communities and drive regional economic development. These sessions connect us while striving to continue a mission of learning, which likewise continues today in virtual settings. We look forward to the resumption of face-to-face engagement, but until then, stay home, stay safe, stay happy, and learn with us live. I'm grateful for all of you for showing up today. I know you have choices about how you spend your time. Thank you for sharing it with me today. I'm truly grateful. Before I get started, I would love to hear from you in the comment sections about where you're watching from today. What's your geographical location? Thanks. And this program is simulcast on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn over numerous channels. I believe that each of us is potentially the leader of at least one person, ourselves. We do not need career advancement, promotion, or even a title in order to adopt personal leadership. This is an essential milestone for all leaders, as we can only share that which we have experienced and have begun to master for ourselves. When Gandhi urged us to be the change you wish to see in the world, he did not imply that we should become something more only in times of peace and certainty. He literally inspired us to become champions of change. Thanks to Heraclitus, the Greek philosopher, we have known for more than 1,500 years that the only thing that is constant is change. Yet, even in the year 2020 as a whole, We resist change for fear of uncertainty, as if it were an unexpected phenomenon rather than an unanticipated thrill. Hi, my name is Bruce Wayne McClellan, and I am the founder of The Mindful Leader, a leadership coaching firm established in Rochester, New York, 2004. We celebrated our 16th anniversary this past April. Our burning aspiration is to make a better world for our great-grandchildren by liberating the heroic power of leadership in each of us. We work with business leaders who want to leave a legacy but lie awake at night, unable to sleep because they are worrying about the future. They are worrying about uncertainty. You deserve a chance to leave a legacy and get a good night's sleep. I know what it's like to lie awake at night worrying about uncertainty. But since I've developed the 3 giant steps for heroic leadership, everything has drastically changed for myself and the people that choose to work with me. In this mini session today, I plan to introduce you to some tools to aid you not just in coping with change, but tipping the advantage in the midst of change to capitalize on fresh opportunities that generate extraordinary results. I promise to keep this talk short. I will spend just a few minutes on personal leadership. Then we'll talk about strategies for adapting. Amazingly, my great-grandmother, Maud McClellan, lived to be 102 years old. She was born in 1884 during the post-Civil War Reconstruction era. To put this in perspective, this was less than 10 years after Lincoln's assassination. She lived through the advent of telephone, television, personal computers, through the Great Depression and 2 world wars, including the dropping of the first bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. She was very much alive when humanity first walked on the moon in 1969. She passed from this world beloved by her family after having lived a full life in 1986. That was the year of the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster, the year Microsoft went public, and just 5 years before the internet became accessible to everyone. I have been asking myself, how would Maud see our unique situation today? Certainly, it would be weighed against her vast life experience. Also, I've been wondering, how will my great-grandchildren look back at 2020 from the year, say, 2060, just 40 years from now? It's undeniable. We are living in a world of change, a time of uncertainty. We are all asking questions like, what does it all mean? What's next? And what's most importantly, how can we adapt in a world of change? That's a great question, and that's where we're headed today. This situation is new to us, but this is not the first experience in intense change, nor will it be the last. I believe leadership begins with a mastery of ourselves. So, how we respond to uncertainty matters because there's a ripple effect to others around us. As a leader, we impact perception of what's happening. Our reaction conveys a story that others will hear in our words and in our actions. What story will we choose to repeat? What story will tell our children and grandchildren? What story about us will be told to our great-grandchildren? Gandhi urges us to become champions of change, not agents, but champions. A champion of change is someone who embraces change and turns it into something good. These champions are heroes who stare the beast of uncertainty until it surrenders, and then right before their eyes transforms into an opportunity. This picture was taken just before Christmas of 1958. I'm in the middle, the big one there. 1958, I'm 5 years old. A few weeks earlier, we were at my grandparents' farmhouse for Thanksgiving dinner. I was casually watching the game on TV and decided to climb atop a mountain-sized sofa chair. Standing on the seat cushion and peering over the back of the chair, I watched the Detroit Lions score a decisive goal against the Green Bay Packers. The crowd suddenly went wild. I imagined that they were cheering for my heroic mountain climb and decided to continue to the very top so that I could wave to my fans. Perched atop the back of the chair, I slipped and tumbled onto the hard, cold linoleum floor, breaking my left arm. You can see the cast here. Needless to say, this remains a vivid childhood memory for me, and for good reason. Without a doubt, each of us has weathered at least one indelible childhood memory of pain and anguish. As a result of our innocent blunders, each of us begins to take fewer and fewer risks. A part of our brain, many call the ancient brain, our limbic system, collaborates with risk avoidance. The ancient brain delivers a fear response in order to protect us and aid us in our survival. It advises us to avoid risk-taking. This fear response was originally designed to protect us from petting saber-toothed tigers, for example, falling from enormous oak trees, and playing with unfriendly neighbors. Nowadays, it shows up for far fewer threatening circumstances. As we become more risk adverse, we take fewer chances in life and in business. We literally create internal rules to govern our behavior around risk taking. These internal rules within the keep us within the safe confines of our comfort zone. The ancient brain functions as a protective mother hen, clucking us back into the comfort zone. Another newer part of our brain, the frontal lobe, drives us in an entirely different direction, in the direction of growth. The growth zone is well beyond the home bounds of our comfort zone. These two opposing forces, seeking comfort and seeking growth, compete with one another over control of the game of life, played on a field with a fence around it called the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a wonderful place with little risk of experiencing negative emotions. Unfortunately, there's a cost for staying in the comfort zone. The cost is that staying prevents us from reaching our fullest potential. We can only reach our full potential in the growth zone, well outside the comfort zone. In order to grow, we need strategies to help us move beyond the comfort zone into the growth zone. Going outside of our comfort zone causes, well, discomfort, fear that manifests in many different ways. From an emotional point of view, there's well over 100 ways fear might show up, such as anxiety, heartbreak, jealousy, anger, rage, sadness, depression, confusion, and many more. Most of us would rather avoid these feelings. From a behavioral perspective, the fear shows up as fight, flight, and freeze. There's nothing inherently wrong with fear, as it's there to protect us and to inform us. As Freud taught us, unexpressed emotions will never die. They are buried alive and will come forth later in uglier ways. Geez, sounds a little like real life zombies, doesn't it? We become closed not only to our pain, but also our happiness. It's what we do with fear after emerges that matters most. In order to encourage us to move outside of our comfort zone, here are 3 basic strategies to manage fear. Recognize fear, number 1. The first useful thing that we can do is just recognize it and express it. Yup, that's fear. I remember this feeling. Yuck. Hey, I'm afraid. Denial of fear may lead to unintentional automatic reactions, a backlash effect which can lead to unpredictable and often disastrous results, disrupting our happiness, our relationships, and our success. Recognizing and expressing fear gives us a foothold on reality and a readiness for another step. Number two, transform fear into love. What we do with fear matters. At best, we can transform it into something that produces a positive and sometimes an extraordinary result. This transformation is facilitated by understanding the power of courage, feeling that fear, feeling the fear, and doing the right thing anyway. This courage, what I prefer to call metamorphic courage, is a part of our heroic nature. I call it metamorphic courage because it is powerfully transformative. It is the catalytic force that transforms the unseemly grotesque caterpillar of our fear into a stunningly magnificent butterfly, a creative spark of bold passion for solving big problems. It is an inspirational and passionate push from our inner hero. We become, as Jimi Hendrix puts it, bold as love. Number three, bold as love. Boldness is courage on wheels. It is passion in action. Boldness is a result of applying courage. The novelist Susie Kassem expresses it this way: the smaller the creature, the bolder its spirit. The smaller the creature, the bolder its spirit. One of the boldest creatures I know on the planet is a chickadee. This tiny, bold bird shows up during the coldest winter days. And this minuscule, keep in mind, wild creature is courageous enough to pluck sunflower seeds from a gigantic human hand. Unbelievable. That's boldness. Boldness arises from within our depths, from a place within each of us where we find our best self, our inner hero, the part of us that's easy to love. So, how do we ignite the transformation of fear to release the energy of boldness? First, we must commit to the mindset of courage before the runaway train of fear takes over. There are three ways to ignite the mindset of courage. Number one, seek a fresh perspective. Look at your challenge from another angle. If you have a grandparent, or better yet, a great grandparent, ask them what they are seeing. If you do not have someone to ask Maud, ask my great grandmother. You know what I mean. In other words, consider the perspective of someone who has seen so much change and uncertainty. Remember, only looks like certainty to us as we glance backward. Let me repeat that. It only looks like certainty as we glance backwards. Let's choose another diverse perspective. Imagine the mind of your great grandchildren in the year 2060. They will be born into a world starting where we left off. As they reflect backwards at 2020, they are bound to have a unique take on what happened. Is it possible that what they see looks like certainty? What else might they see that we cannot? Remember, our imagination is a powerful tool for getting a fresh perspective. Try a few of the following questions as a starting point to shift your current viewpoint. Ask yourself, whose eye might I borrow to see a fresh point of view that is unbiased by the times I live in? Another, is there anything to be learned from my challenging situation? Where are the opportunities that did not exist before this situation? What ways could I serve others in this situation to make their world a little bit better? And finally, what heroic story is hidden under the dark and dank ugliness? These questions are only a beginning. There are many, many more questions one might ask. Finding meaning. What meaning is found in the challenge that we have not yet considered? In Viktor Frankl's epic book, Man's Search for Meaning, he reveals his insights on why some prisoners in a World War II concentration camp thrived in the midst of what many consider the darkest moment of human history. Frankl reflected, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. What a few special prisoners changed was how they viewed themselves in the situation. In other words, they changed their perspective, sometimes drastically. They shifted their interpretation about their experience to find meaning even in the horrors of a concentration camp. One particularly revealing story tells of a teenage girl who is headed for the gas chamber within 24 hours. She chose to drastically change her perspective away from sad ideas of never growing up, never getting married, and never having children. Instead, this teenager found meaning by focusing on the perspective of the sparse beauty inherent in her final moments. Looking out her cell window, she smiled contentedly to see a mature tree dressed in full regalia with luscious green leaves. As she mused at its beautiful bounty, she joyfully whispered to herself the precious meaning of her final moments. Life goes on. Number 3, tell a better story. Finding meaning by changing our perspective is an important step. So let's take another deeper step. Finding the meaning lends itself to telling a better story. Let's start with where we are right now. Let's honestly ask ourselves, what is the fear-based story I am telling myself right now? Here are some stories that I've recently heard. These fear-based stories. We are all going to die. We won't get back to work until 2021. My business or my job will be flushed down the toilet soon. I'll go broke and wander the streets, homeless. Really, is this the kind of story that we choose to focus on? Is this the story that we want to send out into the world? Or are there different stories, just as true, stories that lift us up instead of crushing our hopes and dreams? A different, better story is a story based on a perspective that's grounded in love, courage, and boldness instead of fear in all its forms. What is the true story hidden in this moment, which transforms us into the role of a hero? Here are some examples. I'm keeping my family safe and well fed. I'm reinventing my business to match the times. I'm considering a new career in the new normal. I'm finding new ways to deepen my relationship with my loved ones. I'm helping others to feel connected. I'm discovering new ways to succeed in my old business. Both the fear-based stories and the love-based stories may be true, but let's consider what kind of impact we wish to convey with our story. Remember, the story is not just for ourselves, it is also for those around us, and inevitably, it's for our precious future generations. What better legacy to leave our great-grandchildren than our heroic story? Again, what better legacy to leave our great-grandchildren than our heroic story? So, let's start building our legacy today by managing our fear, recognizing fear as fear, transforming fear into love, and being bold as love, just like a chickadee. Also, let's ignite the mindset of courage by seeking a fresh perspective. Thank you, Great Grammy Maud. Let's find meaning within the chaos and tell a better story, our heroic story, a story for them. Thank you. Finally, please do the following 3 things after the session. I'll be uploading both a version of the presentation and my script for your enjoyment. You can download the PDF version of the presentation, the script for this talk, and if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my newsletter, that would be fantastic. You can send me a private message or email me at bruce@brucewaynemcclellan.com. Remember, capitalize on uncertainty, leave the legacy of your heroic story, and get a good night's sleep every night. Thank you for joining MCC Corporate College Connection Series live via Facebook. Weekly sessions will be posted on the Economic Workforce Development Center and Corporate College Facebook page. For a broader list of course offerings, visit workforceforward.com, professional-development. We continue not just to train, but to transform in this unique time. This has been Bruce Wayne McClellan from The Mindful Leader. Let's make a better world for them. Thank you again for joining me. I look forward to hearing from all of you. Be safe, be sound, and remember, love makes the world go round. Good night.